Hello all my Kinvians and welcome to a very special episode where I'm going to be doing a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to be talking a little bit about my trip to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo a few weeks ago. and it was so much fun, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about my experiences there, who I got to meet, which if you follow me on Instagram, or actually probably on most of the other social medias, since I shared it from there as well, you got to see some of the people I met, and also my haul from there, which, I mean, some people go there and they undoubtedly just have these massive game hauls that cost a lot of money, but considering I don't know how much I spent exactly, it wasn't much, and I think I came out with pretty good deals here. So let's get right into it. First of all, let's just do the haul, and we'll begin with this pretty sweet little Hyperkin carrying bag there. This definitely came in handy when it came time to carry stuff around, because plastic bags were not readily available, to say the least. Or if they were available, they were holding something that like the vendors needed. But, well, one thing that I definitely want to show is Another Castle. This is a gaming store in, I don't want to say for sure Seattle, Washington, but I know it's in Washington because a few of the people that I met there work here, and that's also where I got some of these games. But if you live around Another Castle, definitely go by there and tell them Papa Ken said hi. And my phone's ringing. And I'm sorry, Jilly, I'll call you back after this is over. But let's get into some of the games that I picked up. And admittedly, some of these you might not have ever heard of, or they might not be that big of a deal, but I picked them up if there's something I, one, didn't have, and two, seemed fairly intrigued by. So let's see, number one, is actually a Famicom game. And since I have the Retron 5 here, I can actually play Famicom games. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure Super Famicom and Famicom games. So this one is called Super Fire Pro Wrestling. No idea what it is like, no idea if it's actually any good, but I got it essentially for $2.50, which in my mind, especially for a Japanese game, is a pretty good deal. Well, I'm going to feel bad throwing these on the ground, but it's carpet, so it's no big deal. Coming up next, we have Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny. Now this is clearly, packaging from a Hollywood video, so I'll probably end up printing out my own version of the cover eventually, just so it doesn't look quite so out of place. But I'm not sure if I have the first Onimusha or not, but, oh yes, I do. So, this is the second game. I'm gonna try and get all of them, because it seems like a fun series to play. And, as we get down the line, I'll be able to start playing more games, and hopefully doing more live streams with just random games. The PlayStation 2, admittedly, might be a little bit more difficult, but I'll get it figured out. Next game is called, and I apologize for my language, but Damnation. And I picked this one up mostly, now it has the $6.50 price tag there, but that's not what it was. I think this is one I picked up for actually either $2 or maybe it was $2.50. And it just looks interesting. That's really my only justification for getting this, is that I just thought it looked really cool. So, hopefully it's a pretty good game. I guess we'll find out. One of many games to go into the list of late to the video games. And next we have Battlefield 4. Now obviously, well, even before I'm recording this, Battlefield 1 just came out, which, kind of seems like a bit of a reverse, but nonetheless, I've definitely always wanted to give the Battlefield games a try. It's not that I'm not a huge fan of first-person shooters, I'm just not very good at them. And this is definitely a game that's more suited for online multiplayer, where some people are just phenomenal at the game. And yeah, I probably won't do very well, but I'd like to check out the solo campaign, if nothing else, just to see if, you know, maybe that's worth it. And next we have... Okay, now this one you'll probably make fun of, but it's another one that I got for a lot less than the price that's on the front here. But Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Burning Earth. Duh! And I think this is actually the second of a couple of Avatar: The Last Airbender games they came out with. I don't know if the other one is GameCube or on the Wii, but... basically, one of my plans in the future is to do a rediscovering Avatar: The Last Airbender, leading up to when I do Korra, not The Last Avatar, but Avatar: The Legend of Korra, which is going to be another discovering series that will hopefully come soon. So yeah, hopefully be looking forward to that, and hopefully it's a game that doesn't suck. Coming up next, we have... Now this is a game that I never got a chance to rent, but I had always seen it, but by the time I really thought to get it, it wasn't available anymore, unfortunately. But The Bouncer on PlayStation 2. And I don't know, this is just a game, it's from Squaresoft, you know, before the big Square Enix merger. And I haven't heard a lot about the game, but it was something I always wanted to check out. Again, just because like the cover looks kind of cool, and it's essentially a Squaresoft fighting game. And back in the day, Squaresoft really could do no wrong in my eyes, but because I'm a Final Fantasy fanboy. But yeah, this is just something a game I always really wanted to try. It's a very strange game from the gameplay I have seen. But I don't know. I think it could be pretty fun to do on stream sometime. Again, once I get the, you know, streaming PlayStation 2 games situation figured out. And next we have this one is a Super Nintendo game, and it is Aliens vs. Predator, or is it? No, just Alien, not Aliens vs. Predator on the Super Nintendo. And this is... I'm a huge fan of the arcade game that came out years ago for Aliens vs. Predator. It's like probably one of my all-time favorite beat-em-ups as far as the arcade goes, but to the best of my knowledge, it's never been ported to home console. But this is a game that, while essentially completely different, does admittedly sort of fill the void left by the lack of that arcade port. So this is one I'm definitely looking forward to playing. It'll probably just be for a stream, or who knows, maybe I'll do a revisiting review sometime. It could be fun. I don't know exactly what all I'm going to do. I have a lot of ideas and not a lot of time. Coming up next, we have, here we go, part 1 of the Dot Hack Infection games. And unless I'm mistaken, let me scan my games here. Okay. Oh. I think I might actually already have this one. Unfortunate. So if that's the case, I guess I'll be trading it in and trying to get part 2. So oops, that might have been a uh-oh on my part, but oh well, that's just the way it goes sometimes. But moving on, Resistance 3 for the PlayStation 3. I have the first 2 games. I'm pretty sure I've beaten the first one. I haven't beat the second one. And Resistance 3, I've heard honestly a lot of good things about, because it came out during a time where, you know, we were very much inundated with these games that were like Halo, essentially, where you take damage, you hide, you heal up, and you go back out. But with Resistance 3, since the character you're playing as doesn't have like the superhuman enhanced abilities, or like being infected or whatever, that you actually pick up med kits, and it adds a bit more like real tension to the game that might not have always been there in the first 2. So definitely looking forward to giving this a play. Oh, still quite a few more games. So, and I actually have a few small games that I'll get to, but I'll just go over them real quick. Now this is one, I haven't really played any Genesis games, and I don't own a lot of Genesis games, but X-Men for the Genesis, the first game. Admittedly, it's not the best of the home console X-Men games. I believe the sequel to this one is, by and large, considered to be the best. But I do remember playing this one at least a few times when I was younger, when I would go over to a friend's place, and I didn't grow up with the Genesis. I grew up with Super Nintendo. So getting to play this was pretty sweet. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to trying this out, and unless I'm mistaken, okay, it's not complete in box, but I mean, still, it does have the Genesis case, and it's not in the greatest condition, but I'm not exactly a pristine collector, so that's perfectly fine with me. Oh, and it doesn't have the special edition poster inside with maps and hints. Yeah, that's not in there. Oh well, that's what we have the internet for. Oh, and this one, again, the price tag does not reflect what I actually paid for it. Ghost Squad on the Wii. And this is one of those, not exactly a light gun game, but it's a game that was very much made to emulate the arcade. And it actually has, it looks like it has 4-player capability, which is pretty sweet. I doubt I'll ever have that many people playing with me at once, especially if I ever stream it. But this is one of those games that's like, it reminds me of Time Crisis and a lot of those other games. The big difference is, whereas with Time Crisis and House of the Dead, you have, like, you can get a pickup sometimes that gives you machine gun capabilities. In this game, the machine gun is your default weapon, which just adds a whole different aspect of fun to it for me. And also, one of the people that I did get to meet, Metal Jesus Rocks, this is a game that was listed on, I want to say, his Wii Hidden Gems videos, or maybe it was like the favorite shooters on the Wii, something like that. But basically, it came recommended, and I've either played this game in the arcade or I've played something very similar to it, and I honestly can't wait to give it a try. I might do that one fairly soon, actually, since the Wii U, which is already connected to do streaming, can go into Wii mode. So, hopefully. Okay, so getting a little bit lower here. Now this game, well, I was going to say I don't know what it is, but it actually has some English on the front. Lode Runner on the Famicom. That's the regular Famicom. It looks to be in pretty good condition. It apparently is copyright 1984, which is the same year I'm copyrighted, or was born. Anyway, I mean, I haven't played any Famicom games before. I haven't played any Famicom, I haven't played any Super Famicom, so I'm interested to see how this plays and whether or not I can actually play it without, you know, hopefully it doesn't have too much Japanese text. That's my main hope for both of these games. And considering the topics like Lode Runner, I've heard the name before, it seems like a pretty simplistic game. It shouldn't be a big deal. But then also that wrestling game, I'm hoping it's easy enough to figure out, again, without having to read instructions. Let's get down a little bit deeper here. This is a game that it was hard for me to pass up because, I mean, I've seen it in some pawn shops before, but the case is always in really crappy condition. But Asteroids for the PlayStation 1. And I mean, when I found it, I took a look at the disc. That was something I did for basically anything disc-based. I tried to make sure that it was in good condition, and thankfully, pretty much all the vendors there were they either had the foresight to buff the discs before they came, or you know, they just had really good quality ones. But anytime I've found this game before, it's always been in really crap condition, so I was really happy to find it. And I did get it for $4, which may be a bit expensive for the game. I don't know what it usually goes for online, but very happy to have this as a pickup. And next, another Wii game. Now, Wii Sports Resort. Now, this is one that people are like, why did you not already have that? Well, I kind of missed out on the whole, the Wii Motion Plus, the little add-on that came out before they started making the remotes with the Wii Motion Plus built in. So I kind of missed out on that for whatever reason. I don't actually remember why, but I know Jill doesn't really like to play video games much, and I think that this could be something that we could both do that could be fairly fun, because unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure she liked Wii Sports in general, as much as she can like video games, or as much as she does like video games anyway. So yeah, that was a good pickup for me. I want to say, well, it says $15 on the side. I definitely didn't pay that much for it. I want to say I picked this up. I think this is one of my $2.50 pickups, actually. Okay, getting near the bottom of the bag here. Populous, the beginning. And it said, this is another one. It says $5.50. I don't remember how much I spent on it, but it was admittedly less than that. I think I got this one on Sunday, actually, and they usually start pricing things down at the expo. But, yeah, so Populous. Now, this is a game that I have heard a lot about, and I want to at least give it a try sometime, because I never played it. None of my friends owned it, to the best of my knowledge, or if they did, we just never played it when I was around. But I'm really looking forward to giving this game a try, because again, it's one that I've heard so many good things about, just never had a chance to play. And actually, I don't think I've ever seen gameplay of it. If I have, it's been very, very little. Okay, so games-wise, we are down to the portable games, and then I'll have some extra swag to show you here. And I think I may end up splitting this into 2 videos where I'll actually talk about the expo, because I've just been talking about the games I've picked up as opposed to, you know, my experiences there. So, okay. Alright, so keep in mind, none of these are huge pickups or anything. They were definitely things that I picked up in bargain bins, to say the least, but they caught my eye, and I figured, why not? Why not give it a try? So the first one is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, a movie that I saw back in college. Might have come out when I was in high school, even. But I saw it in college, thought it was awesome. Didn't actually know they came out with a game for it, so I don't know, I'm looking forward to see whether or not the game sucks or not. Definitely a late to the video game review there. Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Another game that I had no idea existed. I'm pretty sure I thought one came out for, perhaps it was the PlayStation 3, or that might have actually been for the sequel to the movie this is based on. So, I mean, it's priced at $3.50, but again, definitely not what I paid for it. So, you know, it not too bad, not too bad. Moving on, the next one I have here is The Incredibles, one of my absolute favorite Pixar movies of all time. I am very much looking forward to the sequel, and keeping my fingers crossed that the sequel doesn't suck. But then again, Pixar and Disney have a pretty good record when it comes to sequels. In the current generation of movies, if we're talking about like the Aladdin sequels were okay, but then it's like we had Pocahontas and the Snow White sequels, and they were all really bad. So, fingers crossed the movie will be good, and fingers crossed the game will be fun. And this one was just purely for nostalgia. Did not pay the full $2 for it, but Bases Loaded on the Game Boy. I have Bases Loaded on the Nintendo, and this is just purely for me to have fun with whenever I'm traveling and, you know, have my Game Boy with me. It's more often than not my 3DS that I have with me, but yeah, I definitely want to have this around, because I don't really play that many baseball games, but Bases Loaded has always been a good one. And this one I picked up primarily for this, a Nyko protection sleeve, which I mean, Nyko makes a lot of stuff, but I didn't know they actually made any little protection sleeves for the Game Boy Advance games. But, well, I snapped it back in before I showed you all what it is. But this one is Sean Palmer's Pro Snowboarder. And Not gonna lie, not super interested in it. Again, got it for cheap because it had this attached to it. But I always really liked the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games, or that's what it was called, yeah, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, up through 3 or maybe even 4, unless I'm thinking of the wrong game. And I don't know, it could be fun. I've played some snowboarding games that were pretty fun. I've never been good at them, but then again, when it comes to sports games, I've never been very good at them in general, so, you know, just being hopeful, but again, definitely purchased for that protector. Let's see here, let me double check. Yeah, I don't have any more games to show you, but what I've decided to do is to actually split this into 2 videos because we are crossing the 21-minute mark on my camera right now. That took a lot longer than I honestly expected, so in the next video I will be talking about the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. I will be talking about some of the amazing people I got to meet and also showing you some of the really cool stuff that I either got from their booths or had them autograph. One of these things will be pretty sweet if you're fans of these people. But just a little bit of sneak peek. Gaming historian retro shirt, sweet! So yeah, I'm a dork. But anyway, until next time everyone, I am Papa Ken and I will see you on the continuation of this video. Until then, later.